I'd like to give a hand to our organizers here and to NC Fair Tax, who did such a fantastic job putting this event together today. And I first and most importantly want to thank each and every one of you who are here, because I know why you're here. You're here for the reason that I'm here, and the reason is that we are losing our country. We're losing our American way of life. We have an administration that has taken power in Washington that ignores our Constitution and has grown government beyond all precedent in our lifetimes. At some point, we the American people have to say, stop, enough. And that's why I'm running for Congress. You know, my background, as Mike mentioned, it is in entrepreneurship. And I saw and experienced firsthand the cancer, the tapeworm in our economy that is the IRS and the income tax. Because I began to realize, starting a small software company, that my kids wouldn't eat unless we had happy customers, right? Anyone here own or operate a small business? Show of hands. And you know that when you're not too big to fail, when your success depends on pleasing your customers, capitalism works, right? And it gets back to our most basic tenets as a civil society. You know, Jesus knew this. When Jesus was asked, what is the most important commandment? He said very clearly in Mark, he said, you know what? It's love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. That's the basis of capitalism. Doing well by doing good. But what we have today, with this cancer that we call the IRS and the income tax, and the crony capitalism that goes along with the lobbyists who advocate for preferential changes in that tax code, and put this massive straitjacket and handcuffs on the American people. Folks, is it any wonder that we just had another 500,000 new unemployment claims last week? Are we surprised by that? No. Capital's on strike. And then on top of that, we have a health care bill. What did they slip into the health care bill? A new requirement that every business has to file a 1099 form for all purchases over $600 in 2012. That's insane, right? If you're a small business and you pay Office Max more than $600 in a year, you're going to file a 1099 to Office Max in the IRS?
I quit.
I quit. Exactly right. And I was talking to a Chapel Hill entrepreneur yesterday, and he said, you know the reason jobs aren't being created? Capital is on strike. The American people are on strike. We have had enough. And if you look at the record of my 22-year incumbent, folks, this ain't pretty. We understand this, right? We have a political class, we have career politicians who are serving Washington insiders, completely trampling over our liberties, our economic freedoms, and ignoring and laughing at the United States Constitution, which is a legal document. That is the framework for how we govern ourselves as Americans. This goes beyond party. And what I'm excited to report is that I do not think the fair tax is that much of a stretch, because I think the Washington establishment and the elitists who are running this country are grossly underestimating the grassroots enthusiasm for a real landslide earthquake this November. In 2008, I gave out 50,000 copies of our founding documents, the Declaration of Independence. This year, we're up over 60,000, and we're just planting these seeds, because it doesn't matter what political party you're affiliated with, although I am a proud Republican, because the Republican Party is the party of small government, limited government, constitutional government, and we are working really hard to beat David Price. And we are going to beat David Price, and I'm going to explain exactly how. What I've been doing with our campaign, we've been down at the NC Victory headquarters. We've been calling and polling unaffiliated voters with the Burr campaign for the past 4 weeks. And what we are finding out is that unaffiliated voters are 60-40 going in our direction. They're voting Lawson for Congress instead of for Price's 22-year incumbency. That's a huge change from 2 years ago. It's a tremendous change from 4 years ago. And what that means is that the key to success, the key to victory, is getting. We've run the numbers on this. We just need another 14% of Republicans to get out there and vote. Do you think we can find an additional 14% of Republicans to get out and vote this year? Yes. It's all about turnout. It's all about speaking the language of freedom and free markets and our Constitution as it governs us to conservative Democrats, of which there are many in Durham County and Orange County and in the 4th District. But most importantly, at the end of the day, it's about letting people understand that we have a government in Washington that is out of control and it's not listening to us. When David Price tries to paint himself as a moderate Democrat, we get to set the record straight and say, you know what? David Price votes with Nancy Pelosi more than any other congressman. And then you look at what Brad Miller's doing. He's right up there as well. But David Price does have the honor of being the top of the list. And not only that, he was elected to Congress in the same freshman class as Speaker Pelosi in 1987. Think about that. They've been BFFs for 22 years. We've got to do better than that, folks. If we wanted to be represented by Nancy Pelosi, we'd live in San Francisco. This ain't San Francisco. So when I go to Washington in January with Mr. Randall, and when Bill and I get up there and we join Senator Burr in co-sponsoring the fair tax, we know that we are doing it because we have hundreds of thousands of 13th District and 4th District and 2nd District, you name it. There are Americans all across this state and all across this country that know enough is enough. And when I talked to Bill Poole, I said, hey, Bill, I got this chipper, and it's really a great, it's kind of ugly, but man, I call her the beast. She is just fantastic. She keeps our chicken yard in fresh mulch. Wouldn't it be fantastic if we could get together and literally blow up the tax code? And that was really the genesis of this event. And I'm just so proud and enthusiastic for all the work everyone's done in pulling this together, because we are making a statement here today that our federal government has crossed a line. And that we are not going to stand still. We are not going to sit on the couch. And at this November, we are getting out and going to vote. Correct? And for people who want to get involved, people ask, what can I do? Sign up. We've got a clipboard right there. Volunteer for the campaign. Sign up online. We've got action today. Right after this event, I'm packing up the chipper and I'm going down to the Victory headquarters and I'm making phone calls. My wife and kids and volunteers are making phone calls from our office in Durham. This journey doesn't end until November. Thank you for all that you're doing. Thank you for supporting a return to constitutional principles and for ending the IRS and the income tax.